Welcome to Tech of the Month, BikeRadar's monthly look at some of the latest and greatest bike tech. This month we have specialised new lace-up road cycling shoes, a brand new smartwatch from Garmin, and the new GoPro Hero 10. And if you'd like to see more new bike tech like this in the future, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our lovely channel. I am a huge fan of lace-up cycling shoes, so I am very excited to have my hands on the new specialised S-Works 7 lace. Featuring many of the same technologies and features as the standard S-Works 7 cycling shoes, the S-Works 7 lace gets rid of the Boa Dialls for, you guessed it, laces. Now, according to Specialized, laces offer extra suppleness and adaptability in what is otherwise an extremely race-focused design. The exclusion of rotary dials also means the price has dropped by a fairly significant £70, meaning these shoes cost a cool £300. Now, of course, that is still pretty expensive for a pair of cycling shoes, but it is nice to see that the savings from removing the dials are at least being passed on to the consumer. Laces aside, this is otherwise pretty much the same shoe as the original S-Works 7. No bad thing after all, as we gave those a lofty 4.5 stars when we reviewed them back in 2019. And if you'd like to read that review, there'll be a link in the description below. There's the same padlock heel cup, a similar engineered mesh, no stretch uppers, and the Powerline full carbon sole, which has a stiffness rating of 15 out of 15 on Specialized Zone scale. Now, how much shoe stiffness actually matters is a bit of a controversial topic. I used to be pretty sure it did matter a lot, but recent research actually suggests it might not matter that much at all. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that topic, we actually just made a video on it. So you can click on the card on the video or on the link in the description to watch that. Of course, we would love to know what you think too. Does shoe stiffness matter when it comes to cycling shoes? Let us know in the comments below. I've got a black pair here, but they're also available in all white or a kind of pinky purple marble design Specialized calls coral. One nice little detail is that Specialized has reinforced the upper eyelets, which should help with long-term durability. On the scales, this pair of size EU45 shoes weighs 494 grams. That's competitively light, if not groundbreaking, but Specialized does have the ultra-lightweight S-Works Exos shoes for the weight weenies. And if the thought of what's said to be the lightest production cycling shoes in the world sets your heart aflutter, click on the card on screen now to watch our video on the Specialized S-Works Exos 99 shoes. Now, many of you tech obsessives will no doubt be aware that this is not the first lace-up road cycling shoe Specialized has made. Back in 2015, Specialized released the Sub 6, which was the lace-up equivalent of the S-Works 6. At the time, the Sub 6 was marketed alongside the brand's recently launched Venge Vias Aero road bike and its Vade skin suit and aero helmet. It was all about aerodynamics, and the Sub 6 even came with a small addition called a warp sleeve, which covered the laces for a further aerodynamic gain. Now, however, Specialized is pitching the S-Works 7 lace as more of a trendy, A4C lifestyle sort of cycling shoe, and while Specialized hasn't ruled out re-releasing the warp sleeve in the future, the S-Works 7 lace doesn't come with them at this point. If I had to guess, that's likely because a lot of racers want the ability to adjust their shoes while riding, and laces obviously prevent that. But Specialized did confirm to me that while they don't have any specific aero data for the S-Works 7 lace, they would expect it to perform similarly well to the Sub 6 without the warp sleeve, which basically means, yes, it's aerodynamic. There we have it, the new Specialized S-Works 7 lace cycling shoes. I think they're pretty cool, but what do you think? Are lace-up cycling shoes a good idea, or are they just another silly fashion fad? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
This is the new Garmin Fenix 7 smartwatch, which succeeds Garmin's Fenix 6 as the brand's flagship solar-enhanced multi-sport smartwatch. It's got a number of new features, including real-time stamina, said to help you monitor exertion during an activity, and visual race predictor, which assesses your run history and fitness to predict race times. This Sapphire Solar edition also has a scratch-resistant screen, and its solar harvesting capability is said to be 200% greater than the outgoing Fenix 6. Another new feature for all Fenix 7 watches is the touchscreen, although it has buttons like those found on the previous model. This combination is a nice touch. For me, it makes the watch a bit more intuitive to use, and if you're riding in wet weather, I found the buttons are reliable. How long will the batteries last? Well, the Fenix 7 has a claimed battery life of 5 days in GPS mode and up to 5 weeks in smartwatch mode. At this point, you might be wondering, why would I use a Garmin Fenix 7 over my bike computer? It's a good question. Many cyclists won't have the need for a smartwatch to record their rides, as they'll already have a bike computer. But the Fenix 7 does have an entire range of cycling specific features and activity profiles for road, mountain bike and even indoor training. For those of you who like all the data, the watch connects to all the various devices a cycling computer would do, such as power meter pedals and speed and cadence sensors. It's worth noting too that this isn't limited to just Garmin branded devices. And if you dabble in running, hiking, skiing, surfing or even golf, you might find it a welcome addition to your arsenal of tech. Another advantage is the insight it can provide into general health and wellness by providing a body battery score, which is Garmin's estimation of your energy reserves. It can also provide blood oxygen levels and a sleep score. If you're a restless sleeper like me, that last one might not be the most appealing. So, how much does this flagship smartwatch cost? Pricing starts at £600 for the Fenix 7 without the solar harvesting and sapphire screen, and soars to £860 for the Fenix 7X with a large 51mm case and 1.4-inch display. The Fenix 7 Sapphire Solar I have here will set you back £780 or $900 US. For that price you get a 1.3-inch screen that has a 260 pixel resolution, which so far has proved pretty reliable even in low light. As you'd expect from Garmin, the Fenix 7 features all the sensor options including GPS, GLONASS and Galileo, plus extras like a compass and accelerometer. It also has Wi-Fi, ANT+, and wireless connectivity to sync it with your phone for notifications or to monitor your metrics and customise the watch through the Garmin Connect Plus app. With the silicone strap attached, the watch weighs in at 73 grams, so if you're a weight-obsessed cyclist, then maybe a smartwatch is the way to go. The Fenix 7 is waterproof up to a depth of 100 metres, so perfect for rainy weather we have here in the UK, or just in case your ride goes really off-road. So what do you think about using a smartwatch to log your rides? Is the convenience of a wearable appealing, or will you be sticking to a bike computer? Let us know in the comments.
I've jumped in last minute to this episode because this rather beautiful Fairlight Strael 3.0 just arrived at BikeRadar HQ. It manages to blend traditional and modern features of road bike design to create what I think is pretty close to being a forever bike. That's a bike I consider to be future-proof for the rest of my life. But first, check out the Shimano DuraAce 9200 group set. I don't want to talk too much about it because the whole group set is going to be reviewed by Jack this year, but it is 12-speed, it is semi-wireless, and it is electronic only. R9200 features faster shifting, improved braking, tweaked gearing, and a host of other refinements. But what do you think? Is it worthy of being Shimano's flagship group set, or do you think it's a little flat? Back to the Fairlight though, and here are 3 classic features I love to see. Number 1, frame material. This is made from steel, which is kind of a given if you're considering a bike for life, given its longevity. But what's really interesting is the type of steel used. The frame's tubing consists of Reynolds 853 and custom-formed Reynolds 725 chainstays, which have been specially selected for added comfort. And number 2, the Strael uses a standard external threaded bottom bracket shell. Yes, this is a steel bike, and while there are performance benefits to press fit, this is not the bike for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to hear why Simon thinks press fit is better, and we'll have a video on that very soon. Finally, number 3, and Jack Luke will definitely agree with me on this one, it has full-length mudguard mounts on the frame and fork. Now let me quickly move on to the new score features which for me make this bike extra special. Number 1, it's got huge tyre clearances. Now we've seen a bit of a shift in recent times with new road bikes having much larger tyre clearances like Cervelo's R5, Cannondale Synapse, and while both those bikes are considered to have very large tyre clearances, the Strael actually has room for 36mm tyres, which Fairlight say is to provide extra comfort for long distance cycling, rather than making the bike a pseudo gravel bike. Number 2, internal dynamo cable routing. The new Anraid fork has really neat internal routing for a dynamo cable, which I think is the future of lighting on bikes. And number 3, the rear dropout. Sure, it's practical, it's compatible with flat mount disc brakes and a through axle, but it's also just really nice to look at. It's been designed in collaboration with Bentley components, and I think we'll all agree, what a lovely piece of design. The last frame detail that I really like for longer rides and when I'm bike packing is the third bottle cage. Being located on the down tube, it's a great place to keep heavy tools in a tool caddy as it keeps the weight down low, and so long as it's secure, you can pretty much forget it's there until you need it. So, did Fairlight break the old school saying about not being able to teach old dogs new tricks? Let us know your thoughts on the build in the comments.
It's finally here, GoPro's newest camera, the Hero 10. Here at BikeRadar, myself and Robin Furtado use a myriad of GoPros when out shooting on location. I've been using GoPros for years, but this version is actually really exciting for a load of reasons, which I'll go into shortly. However, we mostly use this, the GoPro Hero 8. I enjoyed using the GoPro Hero 8 so much that I actually ended up buying my own. And this is it right here. I did know that one day this little camera would become a worthwhile purchase. And ever since Hypersmooth was introduced on the GoPro Hero 7 and the quality of image has increased, I've decided that this was the time for me. But enough of that history lesson, and let's take a closer look at what the new Hero 10 has to offer. And then I'll talk through the video and resolution settings a bit later. First of all, it has a much more responsive touchscreen. With older models, when you're out on the trail and trying to flip between settings or screens with your gloves on, it becomes a right pain in the But now it seems far more responsive, and I no longer have to stand around taking my gloves on and off just so I can review my footage or change screens. Secondly, Hypersmooth Boost 4 is marginally better than the previous iteration. But if you have an older camera, like the 8, it's almost undetectable with the right lighting. The Hero 10 also produces less noise and grain in low light conditions compared to older models. Number 3, GoPro has added a new hydrophobic layer to the front of its lens, which is also interchangeable between the 9 and the 10. This means in rain, splashes from puddles should slide straight off while you're riding. Hopefully no more ruined clips from mud and scratches across the lens. GoPro says, however, not to use the old lens lick technique, which is the cowboy method people use when shooting in and around water to gain a similar hydrophobic effect. They say doing this now will remove said hydrophobic layer, so put those eager tongues away. Number 4, the Hero 10 now also offers improved horizon leveling in most of the video settings. You can now turn the camera roughly up to 45 degrees before this effect is disabled, whereas on the 9, it was much less at roughly around 22 degrees. So this is all pretty neat, but what about the video and resolution settings, I hear you ask? Brace yourself, here come some numbers. Well, it seems everything has pretty much doubled since the Hero 9's release, so you can now shoot 4K at 100, 50, 25 and 24 frames per second, and in 2.7K at a whopping 200 frames per second, meaning this camera's slow-mo abilities have now dwarfed most budget mid-range video cameras. The Sony a7 III, for example, can only shoot up to 100 frames per second at 1080p. I know this is like comparing apples and oranges, but it's still great to see such a small camera pack in so much cool tech. But what if the 4K is just too small for you? Well, you can now also shoot 25 and 50 frames per second at 5.3K. And if media space is at a premium, good old 1080p is still on hand, going up to 200 frames per second too. I'm also hoping to shoot a slightly more in-depth video comparing this camera to something very shiny and very new, but I can't show you that just yet. So make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on that video. That's it! Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Tech of the Month. We hope you enjoyed the selection of jaw-dropping, drool-worthy goodies from today. Now we want to hear from you. What did you think of our selection? Do you really need 5K on a GoPro? Are laces on shoes a bit too old school? Let us know in the comments. And, as always, do not forget to like, subscribe, and click that little bell icon so that every time we upload a video, you get notification.